Counter-Narrative News brings you daily news today on Friday, the 31st of March 2023. Wishing everyone a happy Friday and a Jummah Mubarak. Donald Trump has been finally indicted with over 30 charges pertaining to his hush money in relations to adult entertainment star Stormy Daniels, and also reportedly around other business mismanagement and corruption issues. This has quite surprised Donald Trump and his team. Of course, he's going to weaponize it as he already has with his usual far-out claims that this is somehow the agenda of the deep state radical left and it's turned the US into a third world country, etc. and etc. In an interesting reaction to this, Yusuf Islam, one of the 5 New York teens wrongfully convicted and imprisoned in 1989 for the rape of a jogger in Central Park, issued a statement following the criminal indictment of former US President Donald Trump. And Donald Trump is the first former president to be facing criminal charges. Yusuf Salim tweeted, "For those asking about my statement on the indictment of Donald Trump, who never said sorry for calling for my execution, here it is, karma." End of quote. Trump had spent between $85,000 and $200,000 on a full front page ad that ran in all the 4 major New York newspapers calling for the restoration of the capital punishment so the Central Park 5 could be executed in an interesting twist of history with his own indictment. Now, Trump, like other far-right leaders, will be using situations like this to whip up its support base. However, whether Donald Trump can successfully do this going forward is not exactly assured if we see other far-right leaders conducting similar strategies like Boris Johnson. And Boris Johnson, these far-right leaders, they become embroiled in such a complex kind of narrative as to trying to manipulate what's happening. They get caught up in their own complex manipulations themselves. So it remains to be seen what happens going forward there. Going to news from in NATO, Turkey's parliament has ratified Finland's entry into the biggest military colonial alliance that humanity has ever seen. And this extends NATO-aligned countries' borders with Russia with an additional 1,272 kilometers in addition to what already was the 1,215 kilometers borders between NATO nations, states and the Russian border. And this really shows that Putin's miscalculation was exactly that in his initiation of the conflict of colonial invasion, occupation, annexation of Ukraine back in February 2022. It was supposed to be a conflict to push back NATO, but it nearly immediately resulted in what was the NATO entrapment towards Russia that Putin fell for, to enlarging NATO. So that's quite a problematic situation for Russia going forward. Back in 2009, Albania and Croatia joined the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, and then Montenegro in 2017, all of which received no real particular complaints from the Russian leadership at the time. So again, one ponders and reflects on why Putin and his leadership took the decisions they did in relation to Ukraine in this last year. A second Israeli strike on Syria has been conducted in 24 hours. The Iranian state has said that one of its Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps members was killed in this second attack. This is very interesting because the pressure is piling on to Syria from all directions, from the Chinese brokered Iran-Saudi deal to the Russian pressure on Syria to basically accept a normalization with its neighbors in Israel, but also with Turkey as well. And then Israel contributing its form of pressure, being facilitated by its senior partners, particularly in Moscow, in these increasingly frequent bombing raids against Syria. It's really important that there's a basic Arab nationalist, socialist-oriented analysis and critique of what's going on, but that largely has been wiped out as radical politics and frameworks across the planet have been wiped out largely at this historical juncture. So it remains a primary challenge to try and encourage and guide and to nurture political voices and discourses that can actually engage in with a view of defending the rights of the oppressed. Finally, sad news in Sudan, where 14 miners have been found dead as a result of a collapse of a mine at a gold mine using heavy machinery. And this again points to the fact that, 14 miners are dead in this accident. It hardly makes any news anywhere in the world. But these are the global working class, particularly the black working class across the world, which are absolutely dehumanized, be it in the migrant flows, be it in the extractive capitalist colonial looting by all forces in this new multipolar world. These are the dehumanized, the people made to be unpeopled, that those actually who respect basic notions of humanity will flip that on its head and put these people, the wealth creators and the majority of the world's oppressed, that they should be front and center and prioritized in our ethics and our understanding going forward. That's Counter Narrative News. Please do continue to support us by encouraging your friends and contacts to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Please do check out the many different kinds of videos that are uploaded and episodes that are uploaded onto our YouTube channel. And please do follow us on Twitter at @counter_CNN. And we wish everyone a fantastic weekend.